All right. Hello once again, everyone. This is Bob Turner, and we're back with the Summit Podcast, this time with a high-level guest. This guy, he's a man of mystery. He's an international man of mystery. I can't even get through it. My friend Bubba Hogan is here with us today, guys. People have been asking for him. Like, when are you going to have Bubba on? Well, I have had Bubba on, but you're one of our comebackers, Bubba. Round 2. This is the second time we've done a podcast with Bubba. Man, I appreciate you coming on. It just seems like no matter how many years I go down the road here, I can't get rid of you. All right? You just keep coming back. So I appreciate you as a friend. And now we're working together inside the Rosenberg group as coaches and all that jazz. And good to see you, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for being on the Summit Podcast.
Well, thanks for having me, Bob.
I mean, what's the shirt mean? What would Bob do?
Could be. It's universal. A lot of people use it different things. It's what would Bubba do?
Hashtag WWBD. So good stuff, man. Well, I mean, enough with the joking around. Let's get down to it. We've known each other for a bit. There may be somebody on here that doesn't know you. For those that don't, tell us how tell us your story a little bit. I know you started with the sheriff's office, all that stuff. I won't spoil it, but kind of give us the backstory on Bubba Hogan.
Yeah. Well, I guess it all started. I grew up my dad was a deputy sheriff. My granddad was a deputy. I used to hear stories, and it's like when I was 7, 8 years old, I made the decision I wanted to have my own stories to tell. I didn't want to grow up telling somebody else's stories. That kind of developed my passion for wanting to be a deputy sheriff. I always grew up, knew I wanted to be in law enforcement, maybe not so much a deputy. And at first I actually tried to go another route, not even as a deputy, to get hired by local police departments. I didn't want to use the favoritism of my granddad to get me hired on as a sheriff's office, or my dad, having been around for over 20 years at the time to have connections. So I was wanting to do my own and start my own name. Nobody was wanting to hire a 20-year-old still in college and wasn't quite old enough even to get out of the academy yet. So I kept getting turned down. I'd fill applications out, do all that process, and everybody's turning me down. So I went ahead and filled out with the county, and well, let's say 27 years later, I guess the rest is history. Got hired, different divisions, different departments, had a good career in the sheriff's office, and it was COVID. When all that hit, I was a school resource officer at that time, and it kind of got to the point where I felt the old saying, I was stepping over dollars to pick up pennies. I had time in to get retired. I could retire and fill out my retirement and go ahead and pursue the business, more in depth. I already had the business going real well, and we were doing well, but it was one of those holding me up and being a deputy still. So I went ahead and retired, and from there, business has grown, and we started doing over $1 million a year, and it's been good.
That's cool. I should have said at the beginning, you are the Mid-South Pond dude. And Bubba has a company called Mid-South Ponds, right in Tennessee, in Memphis area in Tennessee. And I came to know Bubba through the contractor fight. We met there. We did my first sales role play with Bubba, and he shredded me. But we had some good laughs. I wish I had that recorded. That would be fun to listen to today. But we've done a lot of time in coaching groups and gone to events, and heck, you've been up to Island Falls, the camp. We've climbed up Katahdin. We've made some memories and had some stories. So it's been fun. You've been through a bit of a shift. You hurt your back. Tell us what life's been like since. I mean, you had a real bad back injury not even a couple of years ago now, right?
It was 2024.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we started out, I got on a weight loss journey, I guess you'd say, losing some weight. I lost close to 100 pounds, working out, doing well. All of a sudden, the end of March, first part of April, I don't know, I got up out of my chair one day and my leg felt like it was asleep and just fell asleep or whatever, stumbling. Through the course of 4 or 5 different days, something happened, and next thing I know, I can't feel my legs hardly, or I was barely able to walk. Went to the doctor. Of course, they made me do the PT thing before they could do a MRI, and after one day of PT, I got home and the legs collapsed, fell out in the yard. They did the MRI, and then within 3 weeks later, basically, it was getting scheduled for surgery.
Yeah,
during that time,
I've seen the pictures of the hardware in your back.
Yeah, I got the old 8-inch rod, 14 screws, spacers between each vertebrae from basically my S1 to my L5. It's taken a lot. I've just now got to where I can pretty much start walking around. Still don't have the balance that I should have, but I'm able to walk around without the walker now. At least I was on a walker and a cane. Walker for about 6 to 8 months, and then a cane after that for a couple of months.
Yeah. That's rough. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've known and come to respect about you is that even through that, when you could go to the gym, you're going to the gym. And now you're still coming back and still doing it, but you you're there and you're doing the reps. How do you stay committed to that when, Jesus, sometimes it's going to be hard to get out of bed, man?
I guess it's one of those things, the old saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And you got to become a standard, not a motivation. Motivation kind of starts it, discipline finishes it. So when you set it as a standard, it's basically like, do you get up and brush your teeth in the morning?
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those things, it's just do it. You get up, you set it as a standard, that's what it's going to do that day. So whether it be that morning, afternoon, whatever, you're going to get the workout in that day. So you go ahead and schedule it, do it, and it just becomes a habit.
Yeah. No, it's cool. And, one of the things that I noted about you is that many people that work in, public service, or whether they're, firemen or police officer or sheriff, they retire and then they start a business. Right. And you already had yours going, right? So, I mean, it was something you were doing in addition to what you were doing. So you were in what, year 16 or 20 with that when you retired, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I actually started out as grass cutting back in 1998. So a year after I'd started the sheriff's office, or a year and a half, I guess, I was out of the sheriff's office. I'd started the lawn business.
You couldn't raise 5 kids on a sheriff's salary?
Yeah, Paul Harvey, I don't know if you ever heard the story Paul Harvey does. It talks about a law enforcement, what it is. Not only is he a marriage counselor, it names off about 40 different things, but he's also a magician. Because if you can raise a family of 5, a family of 5 kids and a wife on a law enforcement salary, you're an absolute magician.
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
yeah.
It's one of those things, you always find some kind of side job and side hustle. And, I had the younger brother, David, which younger now, he's in his 40s. But back then, he was high school, middle school, high school, and give him something to do. So we started doing the lawn business, cutting grass. And one thing evolved to another, to where we got into the pond business. So, yeah, after a while, he started taking over it, and I was able to do things and, just run the business from there. But like I said, it got to the point where we had the employees, had the structure, but I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do with the business, being cooped up in the office all day at school as a school resource officer.
Right. Yeah. So COVID came, flushed out of the sheriff's office, went all in the business, right? It got hurt the back and everything. But how's it been since? What's life for you like today with now you're not wearing a uniform. You're truly a full-time entrepreneur. How are things?
Life's good. I don't seem to get to travel as much here lately as I want to. It's like vacation into the beach, I guess you'd say. I got off into Steve, Rosenberg got me into helping out with the coaching thing. So, I enjoy helping people, so I started doing that, and it's like it limited my beach time. Now I got to go to Houston more than I go to the beach. So, a couple of years ago, right after COVID, I think maybe 2023 or so, I started panhandle ponds down in Florida, Panhandle. I was like, hey, I got to have something to do so I can give me an excuse to go to the beach. And all my kids are in college in Pensacola. I can go down there and visit them. I don't have to say, hey, I want to go see my kids. I can say, I got to go do work. But then I get to go have dinner with them, hang out with them. But then I got the business going, and literally, just a website and just word of mouth by people. And we do $500,000 a year in business down there.
That's amazing. And now when you go see the kids, it's a work trip, right? So
yeah, everything is to be written off.
Can't say that. Can we say that on here?
I mean, it's business, isn't it? Business expense.
Right. Yeah. Well, Bubba's known for you guys that are listening, Bubba's known for sending people pictures while he's at the beach of just his toes. Okay. So inside
I've got 10, Bob. I don't have just 4. I've got 10. You held it up like I only had 4 toes. I got 10.
It do look like a little Fred Flintstone things, though.
I've always been made fun of with short, fat feet, but hey.
I don't know how you get those things in a shoe, but anyway, it's become a thing, and now it takes off. And like other people, whether it was in the contractor fight community or in the Rosenberg group or wherever we've been involved, people now know it's the toes in the water, ass in the sand, or whatever the song is, right? You're doing it, but you make that a priority, right? So you do. I mean, you get there, and you truly are. Well, like, what have you done with your business that's allowed you to be able to go do that? Because we both work with coaching clients who are like all in all day, working 60, 80 hours a week. That for them, the thought of going to the beach is a long way away.
I used to wear the thing, you work 90 hours a week. I wore it as a badge of honor. I worked all this, and at the end, I really didn't have anything to show for it. And I guess it was kind of back when the kids were still young and all that. I got to thinking, do I want to work all this and miss them growing up? I started getting the coaching, getting things in place, getting systems in place where all of a sudden work less, make more. And leveraging people, not so much leveraging in a bad way, but, utilizing people, delegating, trusting that they could do something, as opposed to me having to do everything. So the more I learned to be able to delegate and do that, the more I learned I can go and disappear. It's kind of like, I went off on a cruise shortly before my back went out that same spring. We went on a cruise and the guys sold over a $60,000 pond. When I got back, they handled everything, sold it, scheduled it, got ready to do it. They were installing it after I was gone, but it was actually after my back went out when they actually even installed it. But even during that time, I used to hear one of our coaches always said, if you can't step away 3 or 4 days and come back, and everything still not be operating the same without you, you don't have a business, you got a job. And I found out even off the cruise that I was able to, go without having to make phone calls, internet, nothing like that. I was able to enjoy it, but things worked great. And I was like, hey, this might just work out. I can take me another trip. But turned out I took a long trip, from April to the end of September with the backs.
Right.
I was pretty much out of it. They'd call occasionally with something, but there for a while, there was about a month and a half that I told them, don't even contact me about anything. Under the medication I'm under, I'm not going to be able to make a straight answer.
Right. Yeah. What would you say to somebody that has the mindset that they still have to do everything, or they're so embattled with like working in the business versus on the business that they can't see to the beach, so to speak, or whatever their thing is? Where do they start, like to try to get that process moving, of the process of not removing them from the business, but getting them so that it just isn't so reliant on them?
I'd say go back to the old, one of the phrases is done is better than perfect. Do something, but then also the other favorite is 80% by someone else is 100% perfect by me.
I like that. I always screw that up when I try to share that. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, whatever Bubba said that was.
If you can get somebody to do 8, well, I don't think it's even me. I read it somewhere else, but I'll take credit for it like I do so many other things. But if you get somebody else to do 80% of what you can do, most of the time a homeowner's not even going to know the difference anyway, and they're going to be tickled to death with it. Right.
Yeah. And you and I have talked about that before with like guys, like it's not a close enough is good enough thing. It's a meeting expectations, and it's matching, it's delivering what you sold, right? Versus sometimes in your business, and I saw that sometimes in mine, was you'd run across a guy that was we called him a clockmaker, but in your business, artist, right? And it's got to be just so. But hey guys, we've got to finish this and get on to the next one. How do you temper that with your guys on site?
A lot of times I got to sit there and just tell them, hey, we're not going out for an artist award here. The customer, we're going to provide a quality product at the quality price, and we're going to get the job done, and we stand by under any warranty or issues, and the customer's going to be tickled to death with it.
Oh yeah.
So what we see it day in, day out, and there's many of them, hundreds that we see a year that we install. So we can always sit there and look at it and say we could probably get it better, but we could also spend a week and a half doing one boulder, one rock, when we get already finished up and gone to the next pond, and the homeowner will never know the difference. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So one of the things I know about you, just from working with you and being friends, is that you're a gatherer of people. You're always doing a meetup or a pop up or getting people together, and not just socially, but also on a business front. And I've credited you with this a million times. You're the reason that Steve and I actually kind of said, hey, Steve, you need to talk to Bob. Bob, you and Steve ought to kind of connect here. And we've been doing that, and that's great. But what is it that winds your clock about just bringing people together? It seems like that's just part of your nature.
I don't know. It's one of those I always like helping people. It kind of goes back to a story I used to tell people. It wasn't a story, it was a real life thing. When I was 7 years old, I guess, we moved to Mississippi from Memphis. It's only an hour drive, but Dad still worked sheriff's office, but we still did that. But as a kid in T-ball, when I was young, I was like the star of the T-ball team. Well, all of a sudden I just moved to a new town and I'm going to go play ball. And we get out there and, it's kind of like the, I guess, break league football or whatever. You go out there and everybody's picking this kid. And all of a sudden they're doing the picking, and here I am, I'm getting to be the last kid getting picked. And I'll never just forget how that feeling was. You sit there and I'm like the last one getting picked. And I remember that feeling. I was like, now I know how other kids feel. And I determined then it was like, I'm never going to let somebody else, if I can have the opportunity, I'm not going to let someone else be that last kid picked. Yeah. Or as an adult now, I guess I've kind of taken it that. And that's part of the going into the sheriff's office, doing that, always helping somebody to be a helper. And, if you can make somebody or, introduce somebody, who do you know that I should know, as John Maxwell said?
Right.
Or who do you know that I should know even, if you can introduce somebody, help them out to help somebody. But just from standing there doing that, being the last person there. And then, of course, time, they found out how great I really was. So, it's one of those things. I moved on up the ladder after that. It didn't take long, but it was that initial. I just never want anybody really to ever feel that way.
I get it.
And it's like, so I started putting this event on a couple of years ago. I thought it was pretty cool. It's like, hey, let's do something, let's get together, everybody come out and have some coaching training and, just people get to meet people. And it's turned out to be a lot of fun. And we're in the second year. I'm planning for the third year now coming up this year, but I also got another event. I'm not heading it up, but I'm actually getting people together and bringing folks in. Actually, I landed a speaker to come to it. And the guy that's running the operation, he asked me if I knew anybody. So I was able to find a speaker to come out and be a keynote speaker for the event.
That's right.
Yeah. That was good. The Water Garden Expo, and it is Shawnee, Oklahoma. And it's going to be March, what is it, the 11th through 13th, I believe it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I've said that to you before, and I'll say it publicly. I appreciate you put me in some rooms and put me in front of some people that I may or may not have run into, or it may have taken me longer to get there. So it's awesome. And the event, just for you guys listening, that he's talking about for his own event is the Mid-South Pond Retreat. And it's the second year in a row. We did it. We had a blast. Bubba showed up this year with a whole bunch of T-shirts with a hashtag WWBD and is now repping the What Would Bubba Do brand. And now that's getting traction, like his toes in the sand.
It's always been a pond industry event, but I think this year I'm kind of leaning toward just opening it up as a, just an event. You don't even have to be a contractor. You just be a regular guy working, punching the clock every day if that's what you want to do, to come out, hang out, be part of it. I mean, we're going to sit there and do it. We're going to have some business coaching and life coaching. I mean, just everything in general, just how to have a good time, enjoy people.
Yeah, and you get around people that want you to win, right? And then there's no telling where this thing could be going, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no telling where this could go. It's like I said, you want to surround yourself. You become the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. And if you're not hanging out with a bunch of winners, you need to go find you some new friends.
Absolutely.
So there's a Facebook reel going around now, I think, here lately. It shows a group of kids, they're sitting there at a baseball game and they're like pointing and telling them, hey, this is his birthday. And they throw the ball to him and then like all his buddies are going crazy, more excited than he is. That's the kind of people you want to hang out with in life, that they're more excited on your wins. If you can sit there and do something, say somebody wants to get into coaching. If somebody starts coaching, if you're in another group and another coach was leading you, they ought to be more excited for you than you are.
Yeah, 100% agree with that.
I mean, encourage people, Zig Ziglar always said it, you help enough people get what they want in life, you'll get everything you want.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody asked me on the page the other day what my definition of success was, because I said, ask me anything or whatever, right? And I said that, really I base my level of success on how many people that I impact in a positive way, right? May never be a gazillionaire, but I'm not going to have a bunch of bodies I stepped over to get where I want to go. Rather, I want to bring a bunch of people along, because it's lonely at the top if you get there by yourself. And I know you're the same way. You're always like behind the scenes. It's funny. I've called you before and said, hey, I'm talking to Victor about coaching. I think he might join up. You go, yeah, I've been talking with him every week for the last 3 months. Like, okay. So I know behind the scenes, you do a lot that people don't see. So what is it that motivates you to do that?
Like I said, I just enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
It's one of those things is my word for this year is, ripple. I come up with, be a ripple. So he's like, no, Wendy stole that from me. Where are you talking about? She was eavesdropping on our conversation the other day. So, you throw that pebble out there in a still calm pond, and that ripple is going to go all the way from one end to the other.
Yeah.
And multiple, it's not just going to be one little wave. It's going to be just wave after wave after wave. And it doesn't have to be a big rock. It can be a small one. But you never know. Like I said, sometimes you never know what kind of impact you make on people's lives. I know even just a couple of years ago when I was doing the workout, first started losing the weight, and I was like posting the pic, and next thing I know, I've got people sending me stuff. It's even like the funny foot pics I do at the beach. I get a messenger. People would send me a text or instant messenger, I'll get a DM and it'll be a picture of somebody with their feet, and it's like, is this how it's done? They have never commented the first time or even liked a page on mine, but they always send it to me.
It's funny. Yeah, you make a good point. You never know who's watching. I've learned that with my daily live that, people will, I've never seen him comment, never see him on a call. But then I'll get a message. Hey, I really like what you're doing. I love your calls. I watch them all the time. I'm like, you never comment. So there are people out there that are watching you and you're impacting them. So for you guys that are considering kind of, letting go of the deep end, the pool wall, going in, swimming in the deep end, or doing something you're uncomfortable with, I would say take note of what Bubba's doing, what he has done is, frankly, he just doesn't care. You know what I mean? He doesn't care what people think. He's going to do his thing. You have to be careful when you're around him because he'll play a practical joke on you. And I've been the victim of that more than once. But what I do know about you is that you care deeply about people and you pick them up in your own way. And you do it in a way that isn't flashy and people don't need to see, and you truly don't care if anybody sees that. It's just that you made that impact. You know that. I know you sleep really well that way. Am I right?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things, even like in my business, when somebody gets terminated or gone, they'll never walk out saying that Bubba screwed me over. I always pay them more than I owed them, along with extra money and a severance.
Yep.
And not only not only are they getting their final check, but they get extra. I'll give them some, tell them here, pay an extra week even, go find you another job now. Because they're not going to turn back around and say, they were cheated by me.
Yeah, no. Well, that's good stuff, man. And I think that you do it the right way. What's in store for Bubba in 2026? Business, personal, all of it.
Well, I think I'm going to jump a little bit more into started doing the old coaching here and there. So I think I'm going to look into doing a little more of that. Maybe open up. I've got two little small groups that I'm doing, kind of not so much maybe a mastermind or just small group type coaching things, helping some guys and contractors and, with their, whether it be with their just sales things or different things of the business, how to get the business going. It's one of those things. I think Ed Milet says, who's more qualified to do something that somebody's been in the shoes that you're in. So I've been down the road. I've been flat broke. I've done pretty well here and there, and I've got a couple of different businesses that are doing well. So if I can help somebody just doing that, share that, do the sales coaching. We do the Rosenberg groups. We're in Texas a good bit.
Yeah.
Right now I've got one cruise booked, and I'm looking at maybe another cruise in the summer, maybe a vacation in the summer. I hadn't really solidified that yet. And then, of course, you got the big event going on here, probably November 1st, December. I hadn't got the dates locked in, but the Bubba show. So it's going to be a good one.
I don't know anybody that travels more than you. You get around. Like, I'll talk to you. I oftentimes, if I call you, I say, where are you? Oh, I'm in Pensacola. I'm halfway between. I'm at Buc-ee's, going from here to
Buc-ee's. That's the landmark.
Yeah.
If you find Buc-ee's, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm up in New York, and I know you've literally gone to New York just to be there when your daughter got off the plane.
I did that twice. I took her up there to get there, but I flew up there just to meet her getting off the plane, to get her back on another plane, come back home, just because I didn't want to wandering around New York by herself.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was over visiting my folks yesterday, and my dad always asks how things are going and how everybody's doing. He's like, man, he goes, that Bubba, he goes, he gets around. He goes, is he married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
26 years, 26 or 27 years now, 5 kids. Yeah. So it's, that's a crazy story. I met Amy, I think it was the 15th of August. I think we were engaged the 7th of September, same year.
Wow.
Married the following July 3rd. Less than a year later, we were married. And like I said, 27 years later and 5 kids.
Crazy. Yep. You hit the jackpot there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say she ought to buy a lottery ticket. She hit the jackpot when she got me. She deciphered say no, that she just, made a commitment. So it was there for life then.
Yeah.
She's been ready to kill me more than one occasion too.
She's a saint. She's going to be a very patient woman. So I've met her, so I know this to be true.
She is that.
Yeah. Hey, we've got another meeting coming up in a few minutes, but I always like to ask people what their edge is. You've read my book. You've helped me get it in front of a bunch of people. You've heard me speak. I'm always talking about your edge and where you go when the shit hits the fan, and what you bring to the table that others don't, and how you show up differently than others. What do you feel like your edge is, Bubba?
Mine, I guess, is I don't know, it makes a lot of people mad, but I guess it's my light sense of humor. Yeah. I mean, it irritates a lot of people. I know it is, but it's also one of those, I guess, for 26 years, the sheriff's office, that dark sense of humor. You when you show up on the worst day of someone's life, when people meet, I used to say back then, I'm meeting people on the worst day of their life. You don't come across law enforcement just because you're happy. Most of the time, it's you're getting a speeding ticket, it's a domestic violence, it's a fight, or I'm doing a notification their child's just been killed in a car wreck, stuff like that. It's things that it's the worst day of their life when they see me in the uniform. Now it's like I go out and go sell a pond. It's like the happiest day of their life. We're going out and installing a pond, and they're more excited to see me than ever. So it's kind of like that transformation, doing that. I guess the light spirit, bringing people together, just helping people is kind of my edge, I guess. If any way I can help somebody, I help them out.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I appreciate that. I don't know that I've ever asked you that, but if somebody had asked me that about you, I probably would have said the same and would have agreed with you about your sense of humor.
Sometimes I do take it too far, and I've learned the last couple of years where to cut it back here and there, but not much.
Yeah. Anyway, what did I forget to ask you? Anything?
I guess the biggest question in life, when you get to this point in life, Bob, you ask yourself, what would Bubba do? WWBD.
WWBD. How does somebody get a WWBD shirt?
I don't know. We ought to do some kind of like and share on this podcast here. If they want one, I can send them one.
Yeah. How about if they type in, we'll know they watched it to the end. We won't say anything. But if they type in on the Facebook feed where I post this, if you type in hashtag WWBD, Bubba will reach out.
How about Bob with 2 B's, Bubba with 3 B's? Because the WWBD, they might get a little suspicious. You say how to win, because you can put the title on there, how to win a free T-shirt, and they're going to put hashtag WWBD.
Okay,
maybe if we go with Bob with 2 B's, Bubba with 3 B's, they might go with that one.
Say 2 B's and Bob, 3 B's and Bubba, and we'll send you a shirt. Hey, what do you? I like at the end just to kind of get out of the way. I think I stole this from somebody else. It might have been like, I don't know, Lewis Howes or somebody like that. I like that they said at the end of the podcast they simply shut up, but they say, what do you want people to know?
I think it's one of those things a lot of times that people don't care what you know until they know how much you care. So I guess that I want people to know how much we actually care.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Good stuff, my man. My friend, I appreciate you. I love you. You're a good man. Even under all that cracking jokes and making fun of me and making me cringe half the time. Like one time we were on a Zoom call. I don't know if you said it or you put it in the chat. I'm like, I had to kill that call like right there. Like,
no, I said it. I said it, and you're like, oh, here goes that one. I can't send this out.
Yeah. You hear
the recording has now come to an end.
Recording has now stopped. So anyway, guys, if you can't tell, we have a lot of fun together. Man, thanks for coming on the Summit podcast again. We'll get this chopped up and edited and get it out there sometime next week. But I'm looking forward to banging around with you next week in Dallas at the Job Tread Connect event. It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Now that I put something there that's dated, we got to get this out before. He's got the Job Tread
there
hat.
It is.
Check that out, Eric.
You type Job Tread and Eric will send you a free hat.
He probably would, yes. Anyway, guys, we're going to hit the road. We got some things to do. I appreciate it. Bubba, appreciate you. BD, guys. This has been the Summit Podcast. Thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.